Hey everyone, David Safransky here, your host of Financial Revelations. I am just back from the Amazon River. I brought back with me, I usually tell people I brought back this great rash, but that's not true. I brought back a little bit of a cold. It is their winter in the Southern Hemisphere, so a lot of people are sick there. I really thought I escaped getting sick. And then I got home and I have this little sore throat. So if I sound a little nasally, that's why. Remember, you could see, I'm going to give Corey some pictures to put up of the finished well. We did finish a clean water well in a village. nativosusa.org is the website. You know, one of the most exciting things, aside from this village having clean water, fresh water, clean, when we left, big village, 50, 60 kids, a lot of adults, very steep hill to climb. I only lost about 5 pounds. The village really did help because we were carrying 110-pound bags of cement up this hill in the equatorial sun, which is totally unique. If you've never been on the equator before in the sun, you should try it once, but only for a minute because you'll get a sunburn that could kill you. But I used my Starlink there. I took Starlink so that we could have internet on the boat. I ended up leaving it there because it was so good, and I bought another Starlink using Starlink, and it was at my house before I got home. But I had internet that was as fast in the middle of the jungle, and I'm going to give Corey a map to put up to show you where we were at, but as fast of internet in the middle of the jungle as I have at my office. It was incredible. We were in the jungle Sunday morning, and we did a video conference call back at church in Elyria, Ohio, and gave the message. And my wife was sending me pictures. She didn't go this time, but my wife was at church, and she was sending me pictures of me on the big screen. It was really cool. So everything got done exactly as we wanted it to. We had a great opportunity to spend some time with our missionaries there and refresh them and provide a little bit of stuff. And there's a guy that goes with us a lot, Gary. And Gary one year said, hey, let's go to the grocery store and just buy them groceries. And so that's what we do. We go, food is one of the things in Brazil that is fairly inexpensive for us because of the dollar and the way the dollar exchanges there. So we went and we filled up 3 carts, and my buddy Leo went with us. And Leo was great because Leo was whipping on his credit card. And, if there was money to be spent, Leo was good. And he did a great job on the trip, too. It was awesome to have. I'd take him anywhere. But we did that, and it's just good. So if you guys have missionaries in your churches, it's lonely being a missionary. People kind of forget about them. We live our lives here. It's a good idea just to send them an email, maybe provide an extra gift one time. I don't know. Think about how you could help them, because a lot of times I think they do feel like they're forgotten about it. So moving on, as I was leaving to go to Brazil, the Fed had a meeting. June 14th was the press conference. They didn't raise rates. I really thought that they were going to raise rates, and I think they should have raised rates. They have a lot of constituents right now that they're trying to please. So one of the constituencies that they have is the banking community. And they understand that they have a banking crisis that could get exacerbated by rate hikes. So I think they're giving them time to kind of catch up. I think July is a live meeting and rates are going to go up. So my pro tip for today is, if you're going to buy a short-term bond, have it come due right before, right after that Fed meeting, because you're going to get a sweeter rate. There's going to be at least 2 more rate hikes. Now, I happen to believe, this is not the popular belief, by the way, and I could be wrong, but I believe that they probably have 3 or 4 more rate hikes. When you look at the data and how it's not really cooperating, especially on the employment numbers. Now, some housing numbers came out today, and they were falling. Home purchases were falling, but that could just be a function of the mortgage rate prices. But it's going in the right direction. So you might see a little bit more supply on the market, but supply is shrinking right now on the market, so prices are still high. I think they're going to do 2 more rate hikes and wait, and maybe do another pause meeting and just see if the data lines up. And if the data doesn't line up, they're going to have to raise. It's just, this is not really rocket science. And I know that Wall Street kind of slices and parses and halves everything and tries to explain away. And if this happens, and there's a lot of what ifs. And if what ifs were nickels, we'd all be rich. But I think that they have to keep raising until the data really complies. And that means 2% inflation or thereabouts. They could be at 2.5% and I think claim victory. Might even, somewhere sub 3% on inflation. I think they could claim victory because you're going in the right direction. But they're going to have to raise rates. And Paul Volcker found this out. Now, we're not in a Paul Volcker situation. Look at Paul Volcker. He was Ronald Reagan's red-faced Fed chair big guy, intimidating person, kind of owned the room, sucked all the air out of it. But he found out that you have to raise rates until the data complies. And maybe they're going to find that out here. They're trying desperately to do a soft landing. And I can appreciate that. I love the idea of a soft landing. And I hope they're right. But I don't think they are. One listener question before we sign off for today is the Russian coup. While I was out of town, there was a coup attempt in Russia that was not a coup attempt apparently now, because if you do a coup attempt in Russia and it doesn't succeed, usually you end up with an extra hole in your head. And so these guys are trying to explain away what they were really trying to do, just kidnap the defense minister. Oh, well, why didn't you tell us that's all it was? Well, the question from the listener is, will it affect our economy? The Russian coup attempt, no, it will not affect our economy. Really, the war in Ukraine with Russia does not affect our economy negatively or positively. Maybe on the defense company side because we're replenishing our missile supply because we're sending it all over there. But what would affect our economy is thermonuclear war. That will definitely have an effect on what we do here. And that's why, people say, well, Putin is so bad, he's so bad. Well, yeah, that's true. He's not a great guy. I wouldn't invite him to a dinner party. But he is the devil we know. And when you have the devil you know, you can make a calculus as to what he's going to do at certain times. I always think back to Muammar Gaddafi. Muammar Gaddafi was a really bad person, but he was our bad person. And in the Arab Spring, we allowed him, he gave up all of his chemical weapons. He gave up all those things with the idea that the United States would offer him some protection. And that's what we did. And we used Libya as a jumping off point for special operations. We set up listening posts there. We did a lot of things. We were playing him like a puppet. And then we let it all fall. We could have stopped the Arab Spring at any time. But no, we didn't do that. We let him get killed. He actually got sodomized in a sewer pipe, and that's how he died, with a broom handle. Well, that's what happens when you fall out of favor with the United States. And we have somebody, we can't play Putin like a puppet, but we know what he's going to do. And, that to me, I probably wouldn't support a coup in Russia for that very reason, because what you get on the back end of that is potentially much worse than you have right now. So, and on top of that, the Russian economy is really tiny. It is so small. John McCain, who's not my favorite person, but he was a war hero, used to say they're a gas station masquerading as a country. Not too far from the truth. And we really don't buy anything from Russia except for uranium. And you can thank Hillary Clinton for that. She sold our uranium mines to the Russians. I don't know, why would you do that? The Russians were one of the biggest contributors to the Clinton Foundation. And what do you think they were buying? Anyway, you could hear me on WCRF every Thursday morning, not this Thursday, but next Thursday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. You can call us at any time, 1-800-344-2534. All those things are probably running down below here. And if you have questions, you can email Corey at epsf.com. It's great to be back in America. I love going to Brazil. I love it. I love the travel is somewhat challenging. It's, you fly and then you get on a public ferry for 20 hours. And I kind of like that. On the way home, we didn't take the public ferry back. We flew on a small plane. It was 35 minutes versus a 22-hour boat ride. And I did like that. That was nice. But I love getting home. When you leave the United States, you quickly realize there is no place like the United States. And we have got to fight for this democracy. We're losing it right now. Things are spinning out of control in a lot of ways, but we have an election coming up and we've got to fight for this country, because if we lose it here, there's no place to go. Brazil is basically a socialist country. They have a socialist president now who's cozying up to China. And what China does is they come in and they finance a bunch of stuff and then they repossess it when you can't pay for it. Airports, toll roads, sanitation works, all these things. They're very savvy, and they do this with a kind of predatory nature that only China could do. And we've seen them do this a lot in Africa. And when you partner with China, you're partnering with evil. There's no doubt about it. And that's what Brazil is doing a lot right now. So Brazil's kind of not in a great place economically, socially, but the Christian church there is strong. And I want to support that. That's what I really want to support, and our missionaries there. We started a business in Maués, a butcher shop, and it's going good. It's going okay. It's the most beautiful butcher shop in the city. They did a great job building it out, and the people that run it are really positive capitalists. So in the midst of all this socialism, our missionaries there are resilient, resourceful capitalists in nature, and I'm teaching them about capitalism, and they're learning about it, and they're doing a great job. So you can support the well-dig missions on nativosusa.org if you want to. You can see pictures there. I'd love for you to check in. You can send emails from there. It's a great way to support people, the mission of the gospel around the world. Love to have you guys be partners. We're going next year, and you can go if you want to. Reach out to me. We can talk it over. I am David Safransky, a real American, a true red-blooded patriot, and the voice you can trust.